What's going on, everybody? This is MDENT313, and I'm back at y'all with another one. Woo! I am excited because it is fight night, and I've been going back and forth in my mind on who's gonna win this fight. You got David Morrell, he got 11 fights. David Benavides got over 20 fights. But David Morrell, I listened to David Morrell's trainer, right? And his current trainer used to train David Benavides. And he gave, I should have put that clip in the beginning of this video. But he gave a great analogy, right? He was saying how David Benavides throw at 96 miles per hour. And he said David Morrell throw at 106 miles per hour. But he said the difference is David Benavides throw 5 or 6 punches. David Morrell will throw 2 to 3. He was like, well, listen, do you want the speed ball that's coming at you 106 miles per hour 2 or 3 times? Or do you want the 96 miles per hour ball that's coming at you 5 and 6 times? And he was talking about how great David Benavides fought on the inside, even though he got a 78-inch arm reach and he's extremely long. But he said, I like my fighter, David Morrell, because he has different ways he can win. He got better footwork, faster hands. He's the harder puncher. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. He can move side to side. So he got a bevy of different options, right? And I thought about that. And I'm like, man, that's a great point. It's kind of hard to argue that, right? But I'm sticking with my pick. And I've been wrestling with this all day today. But I'm sticking with my pick. And I'm going with David Benavides by 11th round knockout. Here's why I'm sticking with David Benavides, right? I'm not just sticking with David Benavides just to be sticking with David Benavides. I'm sticking with David Benavides on this particular fight for 2 reasons. His last 2 fights, he has, not his last 2, but his last fight he fought Gosvick. But the 2 fights prior to that, he fought 2 boxers, 2 traditional pure outboxers, right? That was the southpaw Demetrius Andrade, who's one of the best fighters in boxing. And he's a pure boxer, and he can do some everything, but he's more of an outboxer. Man, he had to deal with some adversity in that. And David Benavides, the way he put his punches together and got through that adversity and found a way to cut the ring off and masterfully broke Demetrius Andrade down, was a thing of beauty. That's number 1. Number 2, when he fought Caleb Plant, I will admit, and Caleb Plant, who was an outboxer, he's an orthodox fighter. He had a lot of trouble, as did Canelo Alvarez, had a lot of trouble with Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant was boxing David Benavides beautifully in the early rounds, right? The first 4 rounds, he was doing masterful, right? But then David Benavides started to catch fire. He started moving his head a lot more. He started countering and coming over the top of Caleb Plant's jab. He started walking Caleb Plant into shots. He started working his way on the inside. He started breaking Caleb Plant down masterfully, right? And then his very next fight, Alexander Gosvick. Alexander Gosvick, don't get me wrong, he was inactive at the time that David Benavides fought him, but nevertheless, Gosvick is a phenomenal fighter. He was the first person that I can recall that beat reigning light heavyweight champion, the WBC champion at the time, Adonis Stevenson. He knocked out Adonis Stevenson, and that was one of the best fights that I had seen in boxing up until that point. Stevenson is a hard puncher. He was a great boxer. He worked up and down extremely well. He didn't have the fastest feet, but he was extremely intelligent, though. How he moved, how he handled himself, how he gauged distance. And Gosvick got a chin on him. Trust me, he got a beard. And that same Gosvick who knocked out and pretty much ended Adonis Stevenson's career, unfortunately. I hate to say that, man, but he did. And that was very sad to see. You know, when you see somebody get hurt in the ring like that, and, you know, can't continue, and it was bad, man. But anyway, shout out to Adonis Stevenson, man. Oh man, sorry, kind of got choked up on that. But the same Gosvick also fought, not Dimitri Bivol, but the guy Arthur Beterbiev. He fought Arthur Beterbiev, and that was a phenomenal fight. He took some big, hellacious shots from Arthur Beterbiev. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he won 11 rounds with Arthur Beterbiev before he ended up getting stopped. And he took a lot of punishment. So I knew going in, I thought David Benavides would outbox him a lot more than what he did. But I knew he wasn't going in there to knock out Gosvick. Gosvick got a chin. He's skilled, he's big, he's strong, he got power in both hands. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. But, and then conversely, when you look at David Morrell, his last fight, or his first fight, I should say, at light heavyweight, he fought Hot Rod, who was a boxer, right? And what I noticed about David Morrell, even though he did good, you know, he fought more of a boxer, and Hot Rod kind of gave him a lot of trouble. The thing is, David Benavides don't fight like that, but I'm wondering if there's some things that David Benavides can take away from the Hot Rod fight and implement them in spots. I know he can't box like that, you know, for the whole fight, but David Morrell will struggle. He does struggle with pure boxers, and if David Benavides can effectively use them 78-inch arms and keep them at bay, put some combinations together here or there, not too often, because David Morrell is a hellacious counterpuncher. So you got to be careful putting them even them fours, but you got to be careful putting them fours and fives together. You cannot do that all through this fight. You're going to have to pick and choose extremely carefully when you're going to put them fours and fives together. Because if you get countered by David Morrell in the midst of doing that, David Benavides will get knocked out in this fight. So to me, it's all about the experience. It's all about if David Benavides is going to stay composed, if he's not going to get greedy in search of the knockout and try to put on a showcase performance. If he goes that route, there's no doubt in my mind that David Morrell, being an inexperienced fighter, is going to start to reach and he's going to start to get desperate, and try to get David Benavides out of there, and in turn, he will get knocked out. He will get desperate by the late rounds and try to land a lucky punch, and he's going to get caught doing so. And I got David Benavides winning this fight by 11-round knockout. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Peace.